Oh, hey, y'all, hey. Hi, my name is Super Sohje. I am a singer, songwriter, actress, doctor, director, super person, superhero, and welcome. I want to share a piece that I wrote called The Alarm. It was something that I was just writing to myself, just thoughts, and once it was done and I read it out loud, I knew that it was special. I knew that this was not one of those things that I could pretend that never happened. This was not one of those things that I could lock away. I wanted to do this with way more bells and whistles because I'm a bells and whistles kind of girl. However, sometimes you just have to use what you have and do what you can at the time, just to start. So I'm going to read this. I'm still going to make it as engaging as possible, and I'm going to try my hardest to get through this entire piece without ruining, messing up so bad. So anyway, without further ado, The Alarm. Hi, my name is Sohje. I was born in a beautiful city, not the largest, but it has its own sparkle. I like to say that this city possesses a country spirit, hidden by the buildings, but no worry because it still dwells within the people. I have a bachelor's degree of science in psychology, and I also attended and completed culinary school. I was classically trained as a first soprano, and one of my favorite songs is an aria by Mozart. My city is full of culture, architecture, music, art, and food. I learned to cook and garden from my grandmother, whose people were from Arkansas. My mother was most improved and top of her class in nursing school. What else? What else could I tell you about me? Oh, a story. Okay, cool. So look, I'll tell you a story. When I was younger, I had a babysitter who was my neighbor. My neighbor was older, but not so much older that she wasn't fun. She was perfect. It was the perfect arrangement. Her mother was a seamstress, and our parents were friends. And my sitter loved singing and humming to herself and jumping rope. It was a summer day, so we were going outside. "Wait for me! Don't leave without me," she yelled to me. I was excited because he lived by the playground around the corner. She was getting more freeze pops, and I already had a green one and a blue one, so I figured I'd share. And go! I run to the corner, stop, red light, duh, gotta wait. Green light, I go. I run to the corner, red light, stop, I have to wait. Green light, I see his block. Red light, I see his block. Stop, everything stops, shots, everything stops, shots, and then goes. Everyone everywhere, everyone's everywhere. Until they weren't. Someone shot Jeremiah! Someone shot Jeremiah! My long-legged babysitter runs faster. There he was, a van screeching down the street. Him there, lying on the ground, plaid shirt, blood slowly appearing as his pillow. Leaves, so pretty, covering his eyes. We just stood there. The empty spot where the car didn't fill yet. We just stood there. A black cop, so sad, came asking questions, and we just stood there. Babysitter crying, neighbors crying, everyone's crying. It was a beautiful day, end of summer, perfect kind of day. What if I would have started the story like that? Would it have changed your vision of me? It's all true. I did go to the university. I did finish. I inputted statistical data for 4 years and worked in a neurology lab learning how to treat brain injuries. I spent 4 years learning how the brain worked, and I know from the beginning, the description in the beginning, you did not picture the projects. Poverty, sadness, hopelessness, violence. I know how the media works too. I know how information can be so plenty but omit so much of the picture. What if I would have included it all? What if I would have said, "Hi, my name is Sohje," but I only answer to that? Man, what if I talk like I talk? My mama had 3 kids and struggled and hustled to get through nursing school. I grew up in the hood, many hoods, many places on the south side of Chicago in the late 80s and the early 90s. We lived in an apartment and our downstairs neighbor did have a daughter who used to watch us, me and my brothers and I. What if I would have used trigger words like high rise, double dutch, projects, Inglewood, the hundreds? The hundreds. Okay, so the hundreds is a section of Chicago that all the streets begin with the number 100, and it's wild over there, so we call it the wild hundreds. So okay, so now you're caught up. Okay, so what if I would have used trigger words like the hundreds? Would you have been so hurt? What if I said that I was a hood rat with a fatty and I was smart and I could sing and I could read and I could write good, but I wasn't allowed outside because my mama was at work and we was at home all alone? What if I said that it was first grade? So fresh out of kindergarten, or maybe second? Would you have listened so hard, been so shocked? It's all true. All of it. I can cook my butt off and they taught me in French. It's true, my granny was the light of my life, but the shadows in my mother's. Her mother died young and so did she, unfortunately. She became a great gardener later on, but she was abusive and unhelpful before I was born. My mother had to figure it all out, single, doing the best that she could, so she locked us away. Rules, routine check-ins, rules, routine check-ins, rules, routine check-ins, rules, routine check-ins, all to protect us. And up until this poem or writing or this speech or whatever this is, I've stayed there, tucked away. Did you know that if you ride a roller coaster and it suddenly stops, that you can develop a fear of heights and not even remember where it came from? Or if you wear a Santa Claus beard and scare a baby and the baby can grow up to be afraid of all things white or all things furry by sensory association, there are experiments to prove it. Babies scared of white cat or its fur just because of a man dressed up in a costume and made a noise that it didn't recognize or was startled by when it was young. It's true. So why can't I be afraid of the dark or the police? Or being kidnapped? Or of big men or loud sounds or crowded places or parked cars, or parked cars, running cars, or parked running cars, or cars that circle the block too many times, or couples arguing, or people arguing, or summertime in Chicago, or summertime anywhere, or summertime everywhere that I am? How come I just can't? How come I just showed you how information can be manipulated into what I want to show you? But when I say, or when someone says that the media isn't real, you call it conspiracy. How is it that if I almost drowned at 4, I didn't? But how is it that if I almost drowned at 4 and never want to go into the water again, y'all would say, poor baby, and give me a pass? You'll use my experience as an excuse for me never to swim ever in life. But if I say that a black boy on the south side on a beautiful day was shot by no one knows and never got my freeze pop, you think, damn, again? And then nothing. Nothing else. Blank. What if I didn't go to college? What if I got pregnant at a young age? What if I drank and did drugs and I didn't believe in myself? You'll say, why? Because she had it rough? There are plenty with less who did more. Why not you? Why give passes to children who grow up with phobias in the mind, but then tell an entire community who had experienced real trauma, who are experiencing real trauma? I mean, people who didn't get to move out that summer like we did after someone broke into our house, who couldn't leave, who couldn't stop playing at the park that their brother died in front of, or leave the apartment their child was gunned down in front of. Why not some kind of compassion? Not a pass, but maybe a moment of silence or understanding, at least. Last thing, desensitization. Desensitization is when you expose the brain or anything to something or anything, what we nerds call a stimulus, so much that the brain starts to ignore its importance. So like an alarm going off every week, and then every day, you start to think, oh, that's just the alarm that always goes off. Someone new to the environment might be puzzled to, how are you so used to this? But if they stay in that environment, this environment, after time, they'll join suit. The alarm will become normal. Now that you know what the media does every day to your brain every time you hear the news report, listen with your brain unlocked, aware, and really hear what happened. A boy was shot in the head in front of his home, in front of his neighbors, his mother, and me, a 7-year-old. I watched him bleed from the wound and lay in the street on the curb until the police came while the whole block was screaming while I was holding a damn freeze pop in my hand. That should not be normal. I should not be normal. I am not normal, but I was pretending to be, doing what my mama taught me to do to survive. But I remember him now. And despite all that I did after it, it doesn't change what I saw. How these moments felt. How it feels right now. And I want to apologize to all the hood kids who lived, and especially the ones that didn't, for skewing and living my life in a way that makes me look a certain way, when in reality, I am not different. I do suffer. Still, I am you. And I won't ever forget that again. I won't ever hide that again. I was there and you were there. And for all those listening, beware of what you think you hear, especially what you think you know. And to all my hood kids listening, you're breathing. There's still time. These deaths are alarms that we should never get used to. Rest in peace, Jeremiah. I don't even know his last name. Damn. I don't even know his last name. The alarm.